President Biden was directly involved. The Wall Street Journal reports that about an hour before he announced he would not be running for re-election, the president rang the Prime Minister of Slovenia to finalize details in the case of two convicted Russian spies who were being out of the exchange. It was a highly complex deal. In the end, it worked because each side had people who other wanted to. It was also pragmatic. Moral scruples about releasing a convicted killer as well as spies were rationalized and overcome. As well as a reminder of the way the world was during the Cold War, it might be a precedent for the future. In our troubles, arresting foreign citizens for fasting is yet another way of exerting pressure on an enemy.
It's a edited journal. That is the biggest and most complex east-west prison swaps in the world. It's been a brutal ordeal for these Russian jails. Out to Andrews Air Force Base outside Washington. And that is it from the newsroom.
This is BBC World Service with highlights from this year's BBC Proms.
Beethoven's Fifth Symphony has been remixed and remixed for film and opera, set to draw interstellar space and immortalized in wartime BBC broadcasts. The countdown familiarity sometimes overshadow the groundbreaking nature and emotional power of them. Join me, Andrew McGregor, for the UK's greatest classical music festival. Of Italy. I was emotional yesterday when she wrote, "I will fight," so that's why she fought. She was like, "I'm representing my country. I can't not fight even though I'm scared." But the fact is, she's done obviously a lot of overthinking about this, just thinking about it, and it became very, very much embedded in her head. When she had that first punch, I think, what did Mike Tyson say? Everyone's got a plan to beat me until they get hit in the mouth. There it is. You wanted me to do a fact check. Okay, I'll do that after the news, if that's alright, because it's quite a wordy fact-checking website. So, should she be allowed to compete or not? I mean, it's a bit weird, isn't it, when you've got two different sets of rules from two different governing bodies, but hey-ho, it's the Olympics, everybody. It's 4:30 as well. Let's get the latest news headlines. Daryl Jackson.
Western countries have completed their biggest prison swap in post-Soviet history with Russia. Among those being released by Moscow are reporter Evan Gershkovich and UK-Russian citizen Vladimir Kara-Murza. Plans for a new national capability to help tackle violent disorder are being welcomed by police chiefs. There have been widespread riots following Monday's knife attack in Southport in which 3 little girls died. Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer's paid tribute to Andy Murray, calling him a true British great on his retirement from tennis. His career came to an end with defeat in the quarter-finals of the men's doubles at the Olympics. LBC weather breezy for Northern Ireland and Scotland today. Rain moving in from the west, mostly in the afternoon. Largely dry with sunny spells in England and Wales and a high of 30 degrees.
LBC. It's McDonald's 50th birthday. So, to get you in the party mood, we're turning our ad breaks into dance breaks. Okay, stop with your hands up, arms with it, elbows facing the floor and palms to the ceiling. Then you're going to simply lift your hands up and down, up and down, up and down. And some hips if you want, or a nod of the head. Yeah, fuck you with it. And there you have it, you're raising the roof. McDonald's 50th birthday, you're all invited. What are you doing? Looking for a used car online. Trying to spot it now. I don't want a car with spots. So there's a manufacturer male hormone in her system. It's caused quite a debate, and it's certainly caused quite a debate in the Mail, obviously, because this is one of those sort of pet stories. J.K. Rowling's got involved. What did she say? Women's rights campaigner J.K. Rowling tweeted a video of the fight, which only lasted 46 seconds, and wrote, "Watch this and explain why you're okay with a man beating a woman in public for your entertainment. This isn't sport. From the bullying cheat in red all the way up to the organisers who allowed this to happen. This is men reveling in their power over women." A bit too much? I'd say that's a bit too much. Right, fact check. Faxer, the fact-checking website, at the 2023 World Boxing Championships, that's the amateur lot, in New Delhi in India, Khalif was disqualified, that's the Nigerian, just hours before her gold medal bout against Yang Liu, due to elevated testosterone levels, said the IOC, which did not meet eligibility criteria. The International Boxing Association made this decision. The chairman stated to the Russian news agency TASS that Khalif's DNA tests had shown she had XY chromosomes, leading to her exclusion from the competition. The XY chromosome pair is typically male. The IBA explained to The Guardian that the decision was made, quote, following an extensive review and with the intention of upholding the fairness and integrity of the competition. This disqualification led to widespread misinformation about Khalif's gender, with many falsely labelling her as transgender. However, Khalif has always competed in female categories and has never identified as transgender or male. Apart from the IBA statements, there is no official evidence. Has this all come from IOC? Well, they're covering themselves. There is no official evidence that Khalif has XY chromosomes. The IBA was disavowed last year by the IOC due to mismanagement and alleged corruption. From the Paris 2024 Olympics, the Paris Boxing Unit, a special unit created by the IOC, managed the organisation. Elevated testosterone, I promise you this is the last of the science I'll do because it is a bit grey. Elevated testosterone levels in female athletes can pose a problem due to the potential physical advantage they confer. However, testosterone is not exclusive to men. Women can naturally have high levels, a condition known as hyperandrogenism. This can result from hirsutism, which means being hairy, doesn't it? Polycystic ovary syndrome, or congenital adrenal hyperplasia. See what I mean? Does she have a womb? Can she get pregnant, says Reed. I think so, Reed, I don't know. And he says, how is she a cheat or a boy? She was born this way. She is not trans. Nico says, if nothing else, most sport controversy is a good chit-chat and creates a front page or is newsworthy. People hitting each other is a bit odd in the first place. Now, mismatched persons hitting each other seems a natural evolution of whatever for fun, hitting for fun is. Perhaps avoiding hitting each other in any event might just improve society. Now, one of the reasons why, of course, cynical, but one of the reasons why here in the UK we haven't done much on this story before today is because our boxers have not done very well. It's about as bad a boxing performance as we've had since probably Atlanta in 1996 at the moment. That guy, Delicious Ore, he was supposed to win. We always get a medal at least in the super heavyweights. And I was listening to him talking about, and there's no doubt about his gender, but he was very, very upset. There's something weird watching a giant man on the verge of tears. You never see as many tears at a sporting event as you do at the Olympics. They spent 4 years just sitting in a room thinking about 2:10 on Wednesday, July the 29th or whatever it was when their bout will be. And in some cases, if it's judo, every single bout from the first round to the gold medal happens on one day. It's amazing. I mean, you wouldn't do that. They shoot horses, don't they? You would never do that with any other sport, would you? I mean, in the Rugby World Cup, which is pretty full-on contact as well, you're only allowed to play one match a week. Otherwise, you can't do it. Alan says, a woman has a womb, a man has a prostate, end of. King James just sent me about 8 things together. King James is sending me. Why are you sending me, King James? Why are you sending me pictures of houses, dogs, a car? Don't know. Leroy's got in touch. Well, welcome to the family, Lee. Leroy's been with us for a while because he's listener number 51. If you haven't heard, the Radar figures came out yesterday. We've got to 100 listeners, so we're very, very pumped here in the studio today. Listener number 51 here, latecomer to LBC, but main source of news and current affairs. Don't watch TV, I'm a music geek, but interested in having my opinion changed on views I have by other callers. Well, one of our regulars who I often find is fairly stimulating with his thoughts is Ian in Surbiton. He's on the line. Right, so you think they should just get rid of all the rules?
Well, you think about it, right? We've got all this hassle going about intersex or trans sport, and I don't agree with it coming to women's sport because it will be the end.
Elite women's sport we're talking about here. People's livelihoods.
Start somewhere. They have to start somewhere, and it's even, But I'll get to the main point. If we carry on the way we are, if I was an organiser of a big national or international event, I was like, I'm not having any of this. I'm going to make this event open to everyone. Full equality. I don't care what age you are, don't care what sex you are.
So you're in favour of the enhanced games next year when anyone can take any performance enhancing drug they want?
That's another subject of the drugs coming into it. I'm thinking about ordinary people who compete as athletes, right? I'm saying the event will become open for everybody. So there'll be no men's or women's. There'll be no chance for anybody to sort of go, well, I can't win in the men's, I think I'll go to the women's. No, this is open to everybody. And the ultimate result of that will be no women's sport.
Yeah.
Exactly. So if you want to go down this line, every event will have to be open to everybody. Think of the extra sport you'll get in the Olympics.
So you're not actually saying this is what I want to see happen. You're saying this will inevitably happen.
Yes, and I don't want it to happen.
Right, okay,
because
fair
there are girls out there at the moment who are coming through in their sport, right? And eventually they're going to come in to meet one of these other competitors. And I personally, I wouldn't allow if I had a daughter, I wouldn't allow her to do it.
What? I mean, the confusion here is obviously the two different sets of rules that these two governing bodies have. So we need a standardised set of rules, but sports administrators, being sports administrators, all they care about is themselves and their blazers and when their next first class travel is.
Exactly.
But that having been said, should this girl have been allowed to fight?
No.
Why? Why not? She's big, she's got big biceps, she looks quite masculine, I have to say, but technically, she's a woman.
She failed the sex test.
What?
She's failed the sex test.
Under one set of guidelines, but not under the current administrator's guidelines. That's the point.
If she fails one, that's good enough.
Well,
because the fact is, I'd rather be ultra cautious in stopping this now, because I predict this. I mean, I'm not saying I was ahead of Sharon Davis and Martina Navratilova, but it's around the same time. The one fear I had when I called a radio station many years ago was that a woman would die in a boxing ring. I do not want that to happen, because if it does, you can forget about all the arguments, all these men in blazers and all these women in blazers.
We're not allowed to do that, though. You're not allowed to object. I mean, I watched female UFC the other day, and I found it really hard to watch. Yeah. Seriously, these girls were just... There was a woman, her face was beaten to, and I would say it is a pulp. She was giving this interview, and her face was swollen, her eyes were closed, she had gashes on her cheeks and her forehead. She didn't even look like a person anymore. It was just... Go on.
You know what, Ian? I mean, you mentioned his name, and Mike, if you're listening, don't mean this, mate, really, I don't mean this. Mike Tyson, if he decided at his age, you know what, I fancy an easy gold medal, I'll give myself 3 years on the pills, I'm identified as a woman, I'm coming back to fight the heavyweight title in the Olympics. In his 60s, I wouldn't get anywhere near him in the ring.
I know. Where are they, by the way, with Mike Tyson fighting one of the Paul brothers? Is it over now? They were going to postpone maybe mid-November. They're talking about. Okay, one of them pulled out.
If he gets in that ring, he's going to do some damage. I've seen the
50
training
something,
videos.
come on.
Yeah, I've seen the training videos. I wouldn't want to be that punching bag.
Look, the two Paul brothers, they're big lads, you know, and they're not slouches. They take boxing very seriously, and I don't think Mike Tyson would deliberately go. Well, I don't think.
You think about it.
They're making so much money. They don't want to put one of the Paul brothers out of business, because if they do, that's their paycheck won't be so regular, will it? No, but
I'm not going to be the one to tell Mike Tyson, here, mate, you've got to pull back a bit in this fight, just in case you hurt someone.
have you seen that online thing where people are asked about Mike Tyson, and Mike Tyson is standing behind them?
I know. It's brilliant. I love it.
I know. That's brilliant. All right, Ian. And you know in The Hangover when they steal his tiger? Like, do you know The Hangover in the film when they steal his tiger? He actually did own a tiger. It's very well known apparently. Nice one. And they wake up in the morning. Do you remember they wake up in the morning? There's a tiger in the bathroom along with a duck. It's just wandering about. What a great film. Why did they have to make so? Well, I know why they had to make so many of them. How about this? Alan says. How about this? There's a 6'2", 18-stone lady. How about me and you in the ring for charity? Says Alan. I don't know, mate. People have to accept in life there are things that you just can't do. Well, this you've sent me a clip of Phoenix Nights. I do love Phoenix Nights. It's so funny. Ian says, sorry, what? Can't beat it. You can't beat it. Oh, how's your son? Barry. Oh, he's gay. What? Gay? No, not gay. What's that word? Dyslexic. That's it. I love it. I'm getting the word. Oh, I can't say that word, can I? Oh, you can say it in Phoenix Nights. It rhymes with Ponce, but begins with an N. I'm getting the word. Ian, this is desperately sad news. Shaky Stevens. Who's Shaky? Oh, Craig Shakes. I'm thinking Shaking Stevens is dead. What? Green Dog? No. Shaky. Yeah, Craig Shakespeare, who was the assistant manager to Ranieri when Leicester City won the title. I think he became the manager as well afterwards. Didn't have quite the same success. But why would you take over from someone who's just won the Premier League with the most unfancied team ever? And the only way is down, frankly. I think that has to be the greatest sporting story of my lifetime. Leicester City winning the... I mean, no one's going to get close to doing that. Any sort of non-top six club now. Sue says, good morning, Ian. If she was born with a womb, then she's a woman. If she has a hormone condition, then I feel sorry for her. We don't know, is the problem. She has... Right, these are the provisos of the guidelines that we've been told by my producer. We should also make it clear she was beaten by several other women this year. She is not beating all the other women. She got to the final of the World Championship though, didn't she? And she was banned in the gold medal event. She has only knocked out 5 people in 50 fights. She's not a female Mike Tyson. Yeah, but Mike Tyson fights 12 rounds. These girls fight 3 rounds. That's the amateur rules. You fight 3 rounds and you have head guards. She's knocked 5 people out. I think that's a lot. Do you have one of these? It's 4:45.
Sunday with Lewis Goodall. Sir Robert Buckingham, would you stay in the Conservative Party if Farage were to be invited in?
Well, Buckingham, the man who wants to destroy the Conservative Party. It's like household inviting the party of burglars. Ignore Farage. Look at the voters. Focus on why it was that they voted reform.
Listen on your radio and on Global Player. Sunday morning from 10 on LBC.
Debbie, can I see you in my office for a second hand? I'm just recording your sick leave from Friday. I know you said you had the flu, but I'm just checking because of that voicemail you left me at 1 a.m. saying I was the worst boss ever.
With some conversations, you want the ground to open up and swallow you whole. People used to think talking about your finances was one of them. But with a My Money review at Skipton Building Society, you can get advice that helps you make more sense of your money. And it's completely free. That's one less conversation you'll need to avoid.
Let me give HR a call.
Online, over the phone, or in branch. Search Skipton Building Society to find out more.
What to give your brother-in-law for his birthday? He likes swimming. But is it weird to buy your sister's husband a pair of trunks? Yes, it
I never thought about he's a Christian. I thought always we brother, we family. Wherever he need here, I'm here for him, and he always support us. That's it. We just best friend.
You're listening to Heart and Soul on the BBC World Service with me, Rajiv Gupta. I'm in Jordan meeting former World Wrestling Champion Dan Russell. One of Dan's most painful sporting memories is missing out on not one, but 2 consecutive Olympic Games through injury. Dan did finally realise his lifelong dream of going to an Olympic Games as a coach some years later.
I mean, I think in some ways to say my dream was shattered might be an understatement. I mean, it was devastating, my own Olympic career, because that had been the whole dream. But to see not just an invitation to get to go and be a part of the Olympics, I got to go and I was working with Guam, and we're at the Olympics in Athens, Greece, when this whole thing started. I'm sitting in the stadium and I just begin to cry. The beauty is not in the gold medal. The beauty is not in the final outcome. The beauty, it really is in the journey to make it to that arena.
So we're just driving through the mountains and hills of Jordan, and either side of this freshly tarmac road are barren lands dotted with evergreen pine trees. Occasionally we pass some olive trees, which is the national